Field of 9 to run in the third event. Mobile swings the bend. 2030 once again. Green light. And they're away. McToddy began nicely. Cheval's Charlie tapped along early on, trying to hold that inside running. Jumbo Osaki can't explain it. And also Dolly Braveheart coming over from the outside. Architecture settles just behind those, as does McToddy. Mr. Tapto Lombo, Apollo 13 and McKay drops to the rear. Out of the straight they run, and Jumbo Osaki was able to cross and lead and took over from Cheval's Charlie as they head into the back straight towards the mile point. Going up quickly on the outside now, making ground was Dolly Braveheart into third spot. Lead time was a pretty nippy 30.3. That's about as fast as it gets. So Jumbo Osaki leads Dolly Braveheart, who works to second, and Cheval's Charlie takes a sit third. Then Can't Explain at 1-1, and Architecture leaders back as they just try and slow this pace down a little bit. McKay is 4 back the inside. McToddy is on its outer, and then came further back Mr. Tapto Lombo, and just sitting back watching all of this happen is Apollo 13 as they make their way to the 1200. And the first quarter comes up in 29.7, so there's really been no loafing in this event. They've just about completed a lap. Leader is Jumbo Osaki trying to run them off their legs over Cheval's Charlie and Dolly Braveheart, first one facing the breeze. Then Architecture in the running line, Can't Explain it. McKay back on the inner. Further back was McToddy. It's third last with Mr. Tapto Lombo, and still Apollo 13, driven quietly, is at the tail. They leave the straight, head towards the 800 metres with Jumbo Osaki taking them there, and the second quarter comes up in 30.4. So that's a 60.1 first half of the last mile. Jumbo Osaki leading into the back towards the 600 now. Still by 3 metres over Dolly Braveheart, edging a bit closer. Cheval's Charlie leaders back, just tapped along. Then Can't Explain it. Architecture seems to be travelling, but awkwardly positioned. And then came McKay, who's angled off the pegs. Further back was McToddy, Mr. Tapto Lombo. And still Apollo 13 is last as they head to the 400. And the third quarter comes up in 29.0. So the pace has been on pretty much throughout. Jumbo Osaki still leads over Dolly Braveheart. Cheval's Charlie. McKay now pulls out, starts to make ground. In the centre was Can't Explain it. Architecture looking for a run behind them. Apollo 13 and Mr. Tapto Lombo are coming to the outside. Jumbo Osaki leads into the straight. Dolly Braveheart now squares up, puts the nose in front. It's Dolly Braveheart and Jumbo Osaki, then Cheval's Charlie. Mr. Tapto Lombo, Dolly Braveheart on the outside, hit the lead. Jumbo tries to fight back, but Dolly Braveheart in front, and Dolly Braveheart too strong for Jumbo Osaki. Cheval's Charlie may have got third. Architecture close up. Mr. Tapto Lombo, McKay and Apollo 13 was the widest runner, and then came McToddy and Can't Explain it, finished at the tail, and they've rated around the 158.6. There's the all clear on the third event, all clear, 8, 7, 1 and 3, all clears there.